103.7 KISS FM presents JMatt Social Club, a radio.com podcast.
Happy whatever day of the week it is that you are listening to the first episode of JMatt Social Club, a podcast where we take a deeper dive into social media strategies with Milwaukee area professionals. Our first guest is Matt Curtis, who is a digital marketing specialist, and we actually met for the first time during a Twitter chat like 3+ years ago.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It has been a while. Do you still do those Twitter chats?
No, I haven't done a Twitter chat in forever. I really need to get back on those at some point, but I don't know. It happens.
Well, today's topic, and I just want our podcast to be something we just jump right into. We don't waste too much time on intros. So today's topic is actually on social media trends for 2020. What do you got for us, Matt?
Yeah, so I was looking at a couple different places for trends before I came over, and kind of found the one driving thing behind all of it is kind of centered around the idea of data privacy and how everyone's always freaking out about that right now. And it started to come up towards the end of 2019. And really think that coming into 2020, it's going to hit hard and it's going to change a couple of different things. So the first and foremost, semi-unrelated to data privacy, but still kind of in there, is it's going to be more of a rise of transactional updates and interactions on social media. And that kind of takes a couple different forms. So the first one is we started to see on things like Instagram, the like click to buy buttons. So, you know, if a company features a product, they can add a direct link on that product on the posts about clicking to buy. So more integration of things like that. They've talked about adding it into stories already, and just different ways that that's going to come up. Along with that, kind of more on the emerging technology side is more of the voice purchase stuff off of like in-home assistants and kind of like that.
Like Amazon and Google Home.
Yeah, like the Alexa, buy me more, whatever.
Oh, good. That's going to be great. Going to get real out of hand with your kids.
Yeah, right. Yeah, there've already been so many stories about that going south. It got a little ridiculous fast when it came out. But beyond that, on more of like, those are all kind of really heavy on the like business to consumer side. On more of like a B2B side and kind of more general across the board is going to be more of a rise of more niche topic integration on platforms. So like we've seen recently, Twitter was announcing that they're adding in specific topics you can follow. And I know it started rolling out to certain people. I don't think it's on a full rollout yet, but you can follow trends and topics. LinkedIn added following hashtags. And all of that, whether or not you follow people, integrates directly into your feed. So more of a way to follow niche topics and kind of have that transactional sort of more direct interaction on social media.
Kind of feel like that's taken one of Instagram's playbook items, because you can follow hashtags there already, and you've been able to do that for at least a year.
Yeah. They're really kind of been ahead of the curve on a lot of things, and even being ahead of the curve there has been a lot of times taking someone else's innovative ahead of the curve and making it better. So
hey, people like following those hashtags, so being able to follow topics on Twitter, I like that they are switching it up and making it relevant still. Yeah. I think Twitter really has to do stuff that's new and different to stay relevant, because it's one of those platforms, well, yes, there are a ton of active monthly users. It's definitely not Facebook. It's not Instagram. Yeah. It doesn't have that same level of usership as many of the other platforms do.
Yeah, I've had a lot of interesting conversations with people about Twitter, because everyone's really confused on like how to start and how to do Twitter in the first place, because it's just so different. And one of the things that always throws people off is they use Instagram and Facebook and all those things for local things a lot of times. Like trying to find events in town, I'm trying to reach a local audience, and it does really good at that. Twitter is more national based, and it doesn't do that centralized as well as the other platforms do. So it's kind of an interesting challenge a lot of people face.
Yep. It is definitely, I think Twitter is still that place for either sports or news updates.
Yeah.
If you like either of those things, Twitter is for you. But it's hard if you're not into either of those things to tell someone like, oh yeah, Twitter's a place for you.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's where I follow for a lot of the like latest emerging information on marketing and things like that. So yeah, it's a good spot for that. But.
So what other trends are you seeing coming for 2020?
So I kind of teased at it in the beginning. I was talking about how data privacy is pushing a lot of these things forward. And one of the first things I was reading about and saw kind of on my own was that it's really starting to push people towards really like niche focused platforms. And so we've seen that with like TikTok growing like crazy.
Yes.
And TikTok does one thing and one thing only, and they do it really, really good. And, it was kind of like that next evolution past Vine and, that sort of thing. So like TikTok, Instagram, they're both really, really niche. And those are two of the biggest, like fastest growing platforms that I've seen, at least in my opinion. I don't know that the stats necessarily back that up or not, because I haven't checked it. But
I looked into the stat. I couldn't find the exact quote, but I heard from some social media people that TikTok had gotten more monthly users than like Instagram or something. I don't know if that's still consistent or not, but I know it's being sought at more competitively. Maybe it was downloads.
Yeah. I'd have to look up the exact numbers on it, but I mean, you can tell that the platform is just growing like mad. It's just been kind of exploding. So, another really good example of that, and one that everybody always discounts as a platform, is Reddit. It's actually it's bigger than Twitter.
But would you consider that a social media platform?
Yeah, but it's such a weird one that no one even touches it. But an interesting thing Reddit did in this last year was they started a new subreddit from the actual creators of Reddit made this new subreddit called RPAN, and it stands for Public Access Network. And all it is live broadcasts of people just doing whatever. But Reddit people are really weird, so they're doing crazy things on there. But it's another really good example of a very niche social platform because it's this very small circle inside of Reddit that blew up immediately of people doing a very specific single live broadcast for however long it is.
So it's like Facebook Live, but on Reddit.
Yeah, exactly, more or less. And it's weird because Reddit people are weird, like I said. And so I can say that I'm on Reddit all the time. So.
That's okay.
So it's people playing music or people taking their dogs for walks. It's always really interesting. I haven't seen a good way that businesses have broken into it yet, but I'm sure it'll happen.
Can you watch the live broadcast without having an actual account?
Yep. All you have to do is go on there. The only thing is they do, and I think one of the reasons it's grown is it's kind of got a scarcity sort of piece to it because it's not always available. The subreddit is always there, but you can only broadcast during certain times that they choose. And when
they can monitor it.
I don't even know if it's a monitor thing. It's just they'll announce it a day or two beforehand, and it'll just be we haven't had one since it's probably been a month since they've done their last allowing.
Well, can anyone go live during that time?
Yeah, as long as you've got a Reddit account, you can go live on there. So it's interesting. You just flip through it. Some of the stuff you see on there's hilarious. There was one guy who was asking today, I saw, if people would watch him if he played popular pop songs and then lip synced with ventriloquist dolls.
What?
Yeah,
I would watch that.
I know, right?
The doll part is what got me.
Exactly. You're okay, music, okay, great, but how are you making that interesting? So it's just a fun little platform that popped up. But again, a really good example of that niche, very specific platform just kind of exploding out of nowhere.
Yep.
And so you see as people are trying to be more conservative about where their information is shared and things like that, they're starting to go to more direct sources of how they want to engage and interact. So those platforms, I think, in 2020 are really going to grow and continue to expand. With
TikTok being such a niche video platform, there's another one that's out there. I don't think people talk about it as much. Mm-hmm. And honestly, I don't think it's going to blow up, but there are experts that are saying, actually, you should be watching Lasso from Facebook.
Yep.
It's basically Vine and TikTok, but it's a Facebook product. So, of course, Facebook has to have their hand in the game.
Yeah, they gotta have a small piece of it. I haven't heard a lot about Lasso, actually. I remember reading about it getting created a while back because everyone was all up in arms about Facebook stealing another
another idea. There you go.
But, I am sure everything that they've done at least is done okay so far, so I could see that.
There's also speculation that they're going to utilize Instagram as a way to do TikTok short form videos, which they already allow you to do videos, but what would Instagram have to change in order to be more like TikTok, and do we want it to change to be like TikTok? I personally don't.
I was going to say I wouldn't want it to. Instagram is Instagram, and that's what people love about it. It's all that short consumable video or visual content. Photos, not a ton of videos, and if it's videos, it's all story-based.
Right.
So, it's really good. There was a lot of speculation that I was reading, though, that people are saying IGTV was going to take off this year. I don't know if I agree with that or not, but it's one to keep an eye on. I've seen some cool integrations recently of people that are using IGTV less as what it was meant to be, where it's supposed to be long form series episodes, and more so they're using it to augment their stories that they're sharing if they want to share something longer than 10 seconds. So people that are recording music and want to share them doing a full song, or someone that's doing a nice how-to video, and rather than breaking it into a bunch of different sections, they just record the whole one and post it there and link directly on their story. So it flows in really, really nicely.
I've also been seeing a lot in my newsfeed 90-second Instagram TV videos where it's okay, the punchline gets cut off right at that certain time where it's watch more on IGTV. And I'm I don't really want to, but I'm invested 60 seconds into this video already, so here we go.
I'm into it this far. May as well just continue here. Yeah. So it's, I don't know, I could see IGTV transitioning and taking a different direction than they kind of had before. And in that sense, really growing and building this year. But I don't know that I agree with everyone saying that it's going to be a big hit this year.
Yeah, I'm not quite there. Staying on the Instagram train, though, contesting, that's been a big thing on Instagram for a while. But now I'm starting to see extra entries by sharing this post to your story and tag 6 people in this to get more entries. It's just getting more elaborate. But here's the thing. The way to enter the contest is getting more elaborate, but the prize isn't matching how elaborate it is.
Yeah.
you're getting unlimited entries, so it looks like you have a lot of people entering, but if you scroll through, it's like 10 people that entered 100 times.
Yep. Yeah.
And you got to have that value. It has to be a perceived value where someone's like, oh, wow, this is really worth following all these accounts and adding this to my story.
Yeah, especially as you see these collaborations, too. It's like just to enter this prize or enter the giveaway, you have to follow like 6 different accounts just to enter. It's crazy. But yeah, no, I did one the other day that someone I know locally was doing, and I just did one entry, but there was someone that tagged me for the initial entry, and they had tagged probably 50 people in the comments on there. So it just, it grows really quickly on that. But it's interesting.
It's also a hard thing to police because if you're like one entry per account, then it's like, okay, now you've got to enforce that. You can't do one entry per person because you don't know who's behind what accounts. That's one thing. But I'll be very curious to see how contesting evolves in this year as it's already gone so far, in my opinion, over the top.
Yeah, I agree. And I'm curious to see what they do with their terms of service on how that affects that, because there's got to be an update sooner or later.
Well, it was a couple years ago that Facebook used to have a like to enter. You have to like this page, and then you can enter this contest, and they got rid of that. So it's now against terms of services for Facebook for you to be required to like a page in order to enter, which I'm sure if we look at the fine print of terms of services for the other platforms,
it's probably the same.
I don't think a lot of people actually look at that, and if you've got a small account, people aren't going to report it because they want to win your prize. But you got to be careful because all it takes is one person to call you out for that, and then all of a sudden, legally, you are entitled to that prize, or you have to distribute that prize whether you have it or not.
Yeah.
Got to be careful because there's people out there looking to take advantage of poorly executed contests.
Yeah, and they're ruthless about it too. I mean, if you get knocked for it once, good luck on getting back.
Totally.
It's crazy. So keep up to date with those, I'd say.
Yep.
Yeah.
Then the last thing about Instagram that I saw coming out is, I mean, they rolled it out, but I haven't seen it on my account yet. Instagram removing likes.
Yeah. I've been hearing a lot about that. And I think it was Social Media Examiner was talking about how they think that's going to spread to a lot more platforms, like getting rid of just vanity metrics across the board.
I'm all about it.
Yeah. I really...
From a personal level.
Yeah, I agree 100%. I mean, like, imagine how many people mentally and their psyche is going to help from that.
Right. But since we're not just talking about personal and this is strategy, social media, how's it going to impact brands?
Yeah, I mean, really for brands, I was worried about it at first. But I don't think it's really going to matter too much because, I mean, people can still like the content, and you as the page owner can still see what those metrics are like.
Right.
So you still know. I mean, the big thing is if you're using it as a gauge to tell, is my content good? Are people enjoying what I'm putting out there? You still have that ability. And I really think that because it's going to be removed, the things that you're going to see there are going to be a lot more realistic and genuine. If someone likes your content, they're not liking it because 50 other people liked it. They're liking it because they really liked it. There's no other factors like, groupthink sort of things pulling people in and making them really want to be engaged in those things anymore for the sake of just being involved with the crowd. Yeah. So I really think in the end, it's going to be for the best for all people, whether it's the user on the end liking the content or you as a business kind of following those things and, tracking those metrics.
And I'd agree with all of that.
Yeah.
But as a marketer, with the competitive review, you're no longer able to go there. Competition.
That's the downfall there. You're losing your ability to kind of compare how you're doing.
Yeah. You'll have to do different metrics like comments. You can probably see all that.
Yeah. But you'll still be able to track some of that.
So maybe Instagram is becoming more personal then.
Yeah, I could definitely see that.
Cool.
Yeah.
Any other trends that you see coming?
So one of the other interesting ones that I saw coming up, and again, this is kind of pushed by that whole data privacy, everyone trying to see where their information's going, is more of a rise in or interest in like the ephemeral content is a fancy term for it. So that like the stuff that disappears, like the short 10-second videos on Snapchat that disappear.
Yep.
More stuff like that across a lot of different platforms, or like things that are more time-based, like stories and
24-hour content.
Yeah,
stuff.
Exactly. So a lot of stuff that has an expiration date on it, and once it's gone, it's gone. You can't get it back. So I think that the platforms that don't already have that, I think, are going to be trying to integrate things like that.
All right, so I'm a little curious. Do you think Twitter will integrate stories ever in the future?
I don't know about stories, but I could see them doing, because I mean their whole thing is short form text. I mean that's Twitter's bread and butter. I could see them doing a story variant of short form text.
Because when we think about stories, and for those that are listening that don't necessarily know, you've got Facebook stories, Snapchat stories, you've got Instagram stories, and then you've got YouTube stories.
Yeah, they're like
YouTube
all adding
does
on.
it.
Yeah, it's so weird. I don't even know. YouTube's got some weird social stuff that they instituted with push updates and stories, and that's interesting.
Yep.
Yeah, I don't know if Because I mean, every entry Snapchat or not Snapchat, every entry Twitter has tried to put in to the visual side has kind of just fell flat on its face. I mean, if you remember back a while ago, they did their live streaming platform. Can't think of the name for it anymore, but it like came out, and it was loosely associated, but Twitter was really the ones making it, and so it integrated really nice.
Periscope,
yeah,
there we go.
Yeah, so Periscope came out and kind of took off, but then it just died.
But it was a secondary app. It wasn't integrated directly into Twitter, which was the problem.
Yeah. But, I mean, every attempt they've had on visual content has kind of fallen flat on its face. So I don't know that I'll ever expect Twitter to put in a stories feature on a visual side, but I could see them finding a way to integrate a text-based stories feature or something along those lines that, like, maybe it's more so on the lines of, like, you know, how Instagram added in the close friends feature where only your close friends can see the things that you're posting. I could see Twitter putting in a close friends feature for whether it's just normal posts on your feed or like short form ephemeral content like we were talking about that'll disappear after a period of time. Because I can't tell you how many friends I have that have, you know, their Twitter account that they keep super professional and good, but then have secondary private Twitter accounts that they're out sharing, you know, whatever terrible memes and things like that. So so I could see them integrating something like that just for the sake of being able to merge those two together.
Yep.
Yeah.
All right. Well, as we wrap up this first episode of JMatt Social Club, I kind of want to think big picture, the whole year of 2020. What do you think will be the top performing social media platform? We're talking about most active users.
Yeah. Ooh, that's a tough one. Honestly, we've seen Instagram growing a lot and maintaining users consistently, and I really think that's going to be one of the front runners. I mean, obviously we've got Facebook has the big numbers right now, but I just don't see Facebook growing like it has in the past this year.
It's kind of stalled out.
Yeah, and I think a lot of those people are going to jump across to Instagram, and it's been happening, and I think it'll continue to happen. I think that's going to be the strong front runner for the year.
You know, I do like my Instagram, but I'm going to go with a dark horse in this.
All right.
I think TikTok could pull it off. You've got celebrities going there. You've got brands going there. Everybody wants a piece of the pie. And even if they're not making the content, they're consuming it. Mm-hmm. I think TikTok could come out of nowhere and be one of the top, if not the top, for 2020.
Yeah, I guess I haven't spent enough time on TikTok to really like be invested in it that much. But I could totally see that. I mean, like everyone I know in town is slowly working their way onto TikTok. So yeah, honestly, another sleeper that is. It's social media, but in a weird form. That has been growing like crazy, and I think will continue. Is I believe it's Mixer, the video game streaming platform that Microsoft put out. And their whole deal is they've been shelling out money like crazy to get exclusive deals with like the biggest streamers. So like Ninja went across to the platform, and like a lot of those really big names. And because of that, it's been gaining popularity really fast. And
But will it maintain?
If they keep the big names, it will.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's wherever the big names are.
Yeah,
it's not about the platform; it's about the names.
Yeah, in that case, 100%. I mean, if you're going to watch someone play video games, you're going to pick the top running person there. I mean, and Twitch losing big names like that, ooh, that's going to hurt. They're going to be jumping across. So I could see that one actually jumping up pretty well if they keep on the momentum that they have too.
Well,
but I'm going to stick with Instagram as my full one.
Hey, you got Instagram, I got TikTok. We'll see in a year what happens. Thank you so much for joining me on this first episode. And if you want to hear future episodes of JMatt Social Club, you can check 1037kissfm.com or use the radio.com app. Thanks for joining.